welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 45. Now, before we go too deep into it, I want to know right now, how am I sounding? Am I sounding good? This has been an issue every week on this set. So if we are actually starting and sounding great, we've already achieved more than we have achieved in the entire run on this new set.
Yes, actually, I'm here.
Yes. Sounds good.
It's been sporadic for the last how long?
All right. So, obviously, I'm here, guys. I am your host, as always, Nathaniel Janc, the Nintendo Prime. And I'm joined by my co-host, after being gone 2 of the last 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Eric Moore!
Hello, everybody.
Oh, man. Feels good to be back with the normal crew. No guests this week, because you know what? I was actually working on a couple guests, and then I realized, you know what, we have enough to talk about just between Eric and I before we bring a guest in, because we'll be talking about E3 and the fact that, is it dead, like for reals, like gone forever? We get to talk about Summer Game Fest, Nintendo possibly being there, some evidence to suggest, and we get to talk about our own video game event that's happening around Summer Game Fest and how crazy that's going to be. So we have so much to talk about that, you know, I didn't really want to drag a guest in for this, but we are going to start our episode the way that we start every single episode, by talking about what the hell have we been playing lately. And Eric, I'm going to let you go first, because he's played a game, at least one.
I have.
Well, technically 2 counting today.
Oh, yeah.
Technically 2 counting
Yeah. I forgot about that. I wouldn't even counted that one. No, playing Kirby. That is a freaking phenomenal game.
Kirby!
Only up to the snow world. Just started it. Just defeated Meta Knight. So, yeah. And then playing a little bit of MLB the Show before the podcast here.
Mlb the Show 22. We were playing that on the Xbox Series S. So that was, we tried out the streaming, the cloud streaming. It was fine while it worked.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know. The thing is, we're running the console on a wireless connection, so it could be one of those things that we really should have it wired in and it wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, they have the beta up for Xcloud on the Xbox, the new Xbox platforms. And I wanted to try it out because I'm like, you know, I don't have the Series X at the moment, so in theory it could look better on cloud streaming. I know cloud streaming doesn't support 4K, but it could support, you know, the better looking assets and shadows and everything, higher frame rates. Unfortunately, obviously there was some
and
hiccups.
dropped.
Yeah. Which again, it could just be because it's in beta. It does say it's in beta.
Yeah.
And it could just be that, hey, you know what? We were using a wireless connection when everyone knows for game streaming it's always best to be wired. For what it's worth, I did try out it on my PC before, and it worked just fine, but that's hardwired in. So, who really knows what's up with that? But yeah, we got to play MLB The Show 22 today. Pretty cool. Haven't played it on Switch yet, though, guys. Sorry. Can't comment on that version. But there is full crossplay and cross saves. So, the fact that I'm playing this on Game Pass kind of means I feel like I should pick it up on Switch so I can just play it on the go and I can just transfer my files back and forth. That sounds like a really, really great idea. But we'll see. Obviously, there's the big thing is the frame rate difference. Apparently, the Switch version is unlocked. It's not 30 FPS. It's unlocked and sometimes even hits 50 FPS.
Oh.
But obviously, all the other consoles hit a higher FPS. So it should theoretically give them a gameplay advantage. Or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Haven't seen a lot of people actually talking about how the crossplay works because it's so new. You know, we'll get into it eventually and figure out if crossplay is good on that one or not. Another big third-party game came out that I was playing, Lego Star Wars.
I know.
Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga dropped yesterday, the same day as MLB The Show, and I was playing that on Switch. In fact, you guys saw me play it on live stream. So that was fun. I really, really like it. It's easy. It's a Lego game. I didn't expect it to be a challenging game in terms of the combat. I like if you think about it, for anyone who's seen the Star Wars movies, like I started with episode 1. Well, I'm Qui-Gon Jinn, and he's a beast. He's already a beast at the start of the movie. He's literally a Jedi Master. He should be able to Shrek everyone. Obviously, you know, until the Darth Maul scene. So, Yeah, it ends up being a lot of fun. They injected a lot of, obviously, Lego comedy in there and kept the Star Wars comedy. There's certain comedy from the Star Wars. They kind of like, oh, it's kind of lame. It's the same. It's based on the movie. They're going to keep the comedy in from the movies. Right. And then they're just going to add more comedy on top. Like Jar Jar Binks drinking the hyperdrive. Why? Because Jar Jar Binks just felt like, oh, man, our hyperdrive is running low. God damn it, Jar Jar. Just another reason to dislike Jar Jar Binks. Misa no good.
Oh boy,
that bastard.
Oh boy,
I know. I haven't used that voice since I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
And here we are. It's coming back because
it's coming back.
Episode 1, dude. There's a pod racing section that was so fun.
I gotta get it.
It's a lot of fun. There's a lot to explore, and I will say, obviously, the superior versions of this are going to be on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Steam Deck, etc. But for being on Switch, it runs at nearly 720p all the time, and which is great in handheld mode because it can only go up to 720p. And it's roughly 30 FPS. It does have some dips to like 26 at times. I didn't really notice it that much. There was like one instance, it was like trying to transition between combat and a cutscene that it kind of like stuttered for a second. Otherwise, it was fine.
Yeah, but that's not terrible.
I honestly wasn't even thinking about it. Like when I tweeted out right when I got done, like, dude, this game's legit, and I'm playing it on Switch. And there was people saying like, why are you playing it on Switch? How can it even be fun? Because great games are great, irregardless of resolution and frame rate, unless it's a deemed unplayable frame rate. And I know for some people 30 FPS feels unplayable. But when I say unplayable, I'm talking about your character is jumping around the street. Or it literally locks up like we had happen on Mlb the Show 22 once. So, like, those are the kind of things that make a game unplayable. This is far from that.
You mean like the 4 to 5 frames per second that you used to play on World of Warcraft?
Yeah. And even then I had fun.
Yeah, right.
Great games are great regardless.
Yeah.
There was one bug I might have ran into with Jar Jar Binks during the big battle scene. I think I got him stuck on the shield, but then I just switched characters and did it with somebody else. But I don't know. At least maybe that's what happened in the movie, and I just don't remember because I know Jar Jar Binks was kind of a wussy in the combat. So I don't know. Maybe it was intentional, but it was a lot of fun, and I do not regret the purchase one bit. I bought the deluxe edition. You got all the DLC. Got the the little Luke Skywalker figurine with the milk jug. I'm trying to understand what the joke is with the milk jug. I don't really. The milk jug, the milk mustache. Does the body good? I don't know. Is there a Star Wars reference I'm forgetting? Okay, see, I'm forgetting a reference.
You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. Is it in the final movie?
I think so. I'm pretty sure if I remember
it's in episode 9. Well, then, it's in episode 9, then I wouldn't get it. Why is Luke Skywalker the one with it? Young Luke Skywalker.
I don't know. That part I don't know.
Yeah, it's this young Luke Skywalker. Anyways,
whatever.
I don't know. I got to watch the final one and see what's up with that. And then another game I've been playing. I know Eric's been playing as well. What's that, buddy?
What, the Kirby?
Oh, the Kirby.
The Kirby.
The Kirby.
Yeah, the Kirby. Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
Kirby in the Forgotten Land. What are your thoughts on Kirby in the Forgotten Land so far? Again, you said you were up to the snow level.
Yeah.
4 levels in.
Yeah, no.
4 stages in.
Yep. Yep. No, I've 100%ed everything up to this point, even including the challenges all the time, the target times beat. Yeah, it's some of those challenges are tough.
Yeah.
Levels, they definitely keep you on your toes for sure. Of where they hide stuff. I've only had trouble with like one Waddle Dee, and it was like tucked in some grass. This little entryway, and I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to see that? But other than that, eventually. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because we're basically around the same area of the game in the snow world, and obviously beat Meta Knight and all that in the battle arena. And I gotta say, it still, my opinion 2 weeks ago, hasn't really changed. The further I get in, the deeper I get in. It is my favorite Kirby game I've ever played in my life. And it's not really even particularly close. Like, I thought I was doing recency bias, so I went ahead and emulated some old school Kirby games that I used to love, turned to Dreamland and all that. And frankly, they're not as good.
Mm-hmm.
This is better. So I'm not even using recency bias at this point. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the best Kirby game I've ever played, and I'm still standing by that. And apparently the best is yet to come because the post-game content is apparently utterly amazing.
Really?
And I have to get to it still. And now some people might go, how the hell haven't you got to it yet? Hey, I got a life.
Yeah, right.
Plus, been playing Mlb the Show. Plus, been playing Lego Star Wars yesterday. Plus, been playing Madden and everything else on top. So, yeah,
Right.
I'm busy. Busy around here.
Yeah.
But I am progressing really well. I think I'm actually going to be to the post-game content by this weekend. Because I've been playing the game pretty much right before bed every night, a little bit during the day. And so I'm making good progress and loving every minute. I didn't 100% everything. There's like 2 things I haven't gotten, but it's whatever. I think I'll probably end up going back. I think what I'm going to end up doing is going back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of like get to the post game and then I'll go back because you can replay everything.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back when I haven't played a level for a while, and then it'd be really fun to revisit this level anyways. And then let's complete what I didn't complete. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that game.
Unlock the second level of characters, of the little figurines.
Oh yeah.
Did you unlock that yet?
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah. So Kirby's little house you can decorate, and it's cute. Did you do the one mini game, the food mini game?
I played it once, and it was like I did it on the easiest difficulty just to see what it was like.
Yeah, well, you probably dominated that difficulty.
Yeah.
Now go to the hardest, and
yeah, no.
I still can't get through a lunch period, and I've attempted it 17 times.
Yeah.
It is insane. The frenzied. Anyways, if you guys haven't played the game, play it, and you'll find out for yourself. All right. That being said, I think it's time we get into our first big topic.
Okay.
E3 is canceled.
Yeah, that's insane.
So originally, they canceled the in-person event like a month or 2 ago. But they never technically canceled the digital event, which they did last year. Then they announced the cancellation of the digital event, which did lead into some Summer Game Fest stuff and all that, and we'll get into that later. But for right now, I want to focus on E3, the event, because they are saying they will be back next year. They plan to do in-person and something digital at the same time. I don't really know how they plan to pull that off, but that is currently the ESA, the Electronic Software Association. They're the people that run E3. They also run the ESRB, the ratings that are required to be on every single game, which, if you don't know, the ESRB system exists because the video game companies came together to form it to prevent government intervention into rating games and all of that. They wanted an independent way so the government can't censor games per se. That was the idea behind the ESRB rating. Obviously, like in Europe, they have the PEGI rating. These ratings are kind of sort of the same in every territory, just with different names and I guess different outlets running them. But what's interesting is not just that E3 is canceled, and we could talk about how, what we loved about E3, which we'll probably get into, our experiences at E3 and what we loved most about going to it in person, both as media and with a Gamer Pass. Obviously, just watching it at home. We can talk about the shit show that was last year.
Oh, God.
Even though this show was good, their show wasn't bad. So if you enjoyed E3, it was probably because you were watching us, or you just skipped everything and only watched Nintendo's part of it, which, then it's just like watching a Nintendo Direct. Right. So if you like that Direct, then you thought it was good. But what I wanted to first bring up is what sounds like some really interesting stories that are going to be coming out about E3 and about the ESA if it doesn't actually come back next year and is actually dead. Because they were going to do an in-person event in 2020. Okay, that was the plan the whole way, of course, before the pandemic hit and everything. Everything was planned for in-person. They had all the companies committed. And apparently it was going to be a shit show. An absolute shit show. They were completely disorganized. They didn't have any idea what they were doing. They knew Microsoft and Nintendo were going to be involved. But there's a lot of things going on with that didn't sit right. And it turns out that whether people realize it or not, Jeff Keighley You don't want to know why Jeff Keighley is so connected and able to do the Game Awards, Summer Game Fest, and all these things, and host Gamescom. And why? Who is Jeff Keighley? Why does he have all these connections? Well, Jeff Keighley, turns out, has been the E3 coordinator for coordinating media and game companies meeting behind the scenes around E3 time to do the interviews, to do partnerships between companies, to introduce people. Basically, for those who don't know, E3, we know it as fans as this front-facing, we get a bunch of video game news. Mm-hmm. But that really wasn't the most important part of E3. What made E3 matter was it was the one time per year studios across the globe and gaming media across the globe got together in one place. And so they were able to exchange a lot of ideas, form a lot of partnerships, be able to, one developer could find a publisher for a game if they couldn't before. This game could get attention by a certain media outlet, whether it's like USA Today or something like that normally doesn't pay attention to any of the video game news. It was a very unique situation behind the scenes, stuff that none of us really ever saw publicly. And Jeff Keighley apparently was the catalyst behind almost all of that. And he left E3 after E3 2019. Now, why did he leave? He opens up about this in a little Twitter podcast, I guess is what you can call it. It's just Twitter's got this thing where you can, I could start one right now. It's like a Twitter little chat group that's like a live show, kind of like we're doing here, except voice only. And you can let anybody who's listening, they can like queue up and be like, hey, I want to talk, I want to ask a question, and you can like toss them in and they can ask their question. It's actually kind of neat. I wish YouTube had a feature like that. Instead, I have to like go through all these other apps and streaming things to make it work. But Twitter Spaces, I think, is what it's called. Anyways, so he was doing this for about an hour, and we discovered quite a bit through that Twitter Space about E3 itself. And basically, Jeff Keighley left, and which ended up leading to a really hard time for all these companies to organize since they were so reliant upon him. Because Sony left E3. Now, he doesn't go into the exact details on why PlayStation and Sony left E3. He really doesn't, bother to dive into that. But what he does note is that, he didn't leave E3 in 2019, but after 2019, he realized, man, PlayStation 5 is going to be launching, and it's not even going to be there. That's not right. That should have never deteriorated to the point that one of the major next-gen systems is not going to be at a show that next systems have always been at. That shouldn't happen. And you could bring up how Switch wasn't there because they didn't unveil it until October, and that's fine. But Nintendo never really did E3 dirty, right? They kept showing up. They kept doing presentations, whether live or, obviously eventually as directs. So, and obviously Treehouse was like a big expansion for Nintendo as well. So Nintendo never really did E3 dirty. But it seemed like there was a disconnect. And it might have even started before that because for many years now, Microsoft has pulled their show floor into their own building, which is, like a couple blocks away.
Yeah, it's not that far.
It's really close to the LA Convention Center, but it's still separate from everybody else. So it kind of felt like Microsoft is part of E3 in spirit.
Right.
It's almost like the EA Play event. It's its own thing that's happening adjacent to
that thing.
An EA Play
of itself.
And I understand Microsoft using the Microsoft Theater and everything, which they used to use for their live press conferences. But them not being on the show floor and ESA somehow being cool with that, and then obviously losing Sony, really began the downfall. And it was obviously downfalling before that, and apparently there's been major disagreements behind the scenes about how E3 should be ran, what the show is about, what the focus is, how do we evolve in the digital age, yada, yada, yada. So Jeff Keighley said, look, he tried giving them advice. Nobody wanted to listen to him. And he's like, look, all these companies trust me. They don't trust you. I'm out. And if I'm out, a lot of the other companies started wanting out too. And that's really interesting because I don't know that any of us knew that Jeff Keighley was such a key catalyst for E3 itself. Because a lot of what he did was behind the scenes. Yeah, you'd see him host a few things, but his real work was behind the scenes. So, that being said, Eric, are you sad if E3's dead? Will you miss it?
Yeah, because it was a lot of fun going out there. Just
What was your favorite part? Of like, because we've attended, what, 3?
yeah, something like that.
3 of the last 4 they did in person, we were there. The only one we weren't was 2017. We were there in 2016 as media.
Yep.
And then we were back in 2018 and 2019.
Yep.
So that's our in-person experience.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, just being around, I'm not much for crowds, but I don't know, there's something about that crowd that's just kind of
Well, there's a
awesome.
lot of excitement.
Yeah,
Because everyone's about to play a bunch of games that aren't out yet.
Absolutely.
And that makes people get excited. I mean, reality is you're standing in really, really long lines, and
I mean, you get to talk to people, and
you also bring your Switch.
no,
That's
right,
always
yeah,
kind of nice.
yeah, right. But no, it's again, like you said, you get to play a bunch of games that aren't out. You get to go hands on with things that you may not try normally. And just being, I mean, you and I hang out, just bullshitting while we're standing in line. You get to see random passings of. We saw Angry Joe in random passing.
Yep.
I ran into Bob Wolf in line. It's. You get to see.
We met Nintendo Cade.
Yep.
We met them.
Came over Jesse.
Came over Jesse. We meet them every year.
We meet them. We see them every year. Yeah.
I think they hunt us down.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they know we're there. Like,
Yeah.
oh, wait,
Right.
I swear they hunt me down.
Right. And Cap.
Yeah, and Cap with that. And then our good buddies back from the Zelda Informer days, like Rob.
Yeah. It's just great to catch up with people and just
Xeon. Is now at Nintendo Life.
I think my favorite memory of E3 though was that the day we realized that we could actually go in, the very, very last day of our first one, where we realized we could go in early because we had the media passes.
Yeah, no one told us.
Yeah,
but see, that to me also goes towards the lack of organization.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's no communication. Oh, we got this back end portal that says nothing about accessing the show floor.
Oh god, yeah, no, not at all.
It's like you either know or you don't.
Well, and the thing was, it's just like, really? We walked right up to the kind of the bouncer people and shut our badges. They're like, go ahead. That everybody like, what? Seriously?
Yeah. We could have skipped the lines and played a bunch of games.
Yeah, right.
It's really frustrating that we didn't know.
Right.
Which is fine. We were only there to cover Zelda. At that point, we'd already played it like 10 times.
Right, but
12
still.
times. But,
but
we could have played other games, though. We could have went and played other stuff and then came back to Zelda once the floor was open. It was really an interesting experience to me. Mm-hmm. Because there's one thing about like an in-person con-like event that's always going to be cool. You meet fans. We bumped into a few fans of the channel every now and then. Mm-hmm. Bump into old acquaintances from like the Zelda universe, or obviously Zelda Informer, or just bumping into other YouTubers. Having Reggie like literally right next to us, where we probably should have been the ones selected to go with him, because we were the ones actually at the back of the line, and the people that got selected were people that just walked up after we had been sitting there for 40 minutes. So that was kind of like really, they weren't even waiting and they get to go.
Oh, yeah.
But,
and being like,
try not to be jealous about
arm's reach of Charles Martinet.
Yeah, Charles Martinet, which apparently it's really easy to meet him. You just got to go to like a different con.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's still cool to.
But that's the thing though. Like, you're around like everybody. Like Tim Schafer, God, he's just literally walking around. You just walk up and say hi to the guy.
Yeah,
he didn't have security around him or anything. Obviously the biggest of the biggest names, like a Phil Spencer or Shigeru Miyamoto, they're all going to have security around them. But some of the other developers are literally just walking the floor. Mm-hmm. Like if you know who the person is who created your favorite game, who was the lead producer, lead director of whatever game series or game that you really like, and it's not someone that's like this mega status like a Miyamoto or a Aonuma or whatever, like if it's just, Kojima obviously, but if it's just, like a Tim Schafer, they're just walking around and you could just walk up to them and sometimes they'll probably be friendly, sometimes they'll be agitated because they're trying to get to their next meeting or trying to figure things out, and bad internet signals, bad, whatever. They're trying to just, get through things. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of cool because, especially once they opened it to gamers, because now it was media, gamers, and game developers, which I know actually irritated a lot of media and game developers, which also goes to the fact that the show should have been direction.
Well, it should have been media for the first, extended it a day, media the first 2 days, gamers and media the second 2 days, and everything would have been peachy keen. But the media was pissed because they had to fight and stand in a whole crap ton longer lines now because gamers were there.
So and
it just didn't make any sense.
At the end of the day, E3 obviously lost its direction. It didn't evolve, and it sounds like, from what we're hearing behind the scenes, and again, they think if E3 never comes back or is a huge shit fest next year, that the horror stories are going to finally come out about how poorly ESA is attempting to run things, or not running things. I mean, they're not organized. They don't know what they're doing. Here's an example. Why is E3 canceled this year?
Yep.
They did reach out to companies. That email chain that happened a month ago is real. They reached out to companies a month ago. Jeff Keighley's been reaching out to companies for Summer Game Fest as of 8 months ago. Mm-hmm. Pretty much immediately after Summer Game Fest last year ended, he was reaching out to companies for the next one.
That makes the most sense.
E3 didn't reach out until a month ago. Why? We're E3, baby. Of course you want to be here.
Yeah.
We're E3. If we invite you, you're going to come to E3, right? Oh, man. You know what, Eric? You just set up a new game development studio. We're inviting you to E3. You're going to come, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, what companies are there? Well, we can't get Microsoft to commit, or we can't get...
Wait, what? Yeah.
So all the companies we need to draw attention aren't committing. Oh, because they committed to something else. Oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to email Jeff Keighley and ask if I can get on his show. And if not, I'll talk to one of the many outlets that are covering the show and try to get on there.
Also, don't forget the asinine prices of actually what the show floor costs, too, for space. I've heard some of those spaces. And again, a lot of that could come down to them not realizing what the point of their show is, or the show floor. Like Microsoft leaving, what's much cheaper for Microsoft to do it in their own building. But maybe if you would have said, no, wait a second. Instead of you leaving, let's actually work something out here where we're going to reduce the prices and make it so companies actually want to be here and do more elaborate shows. And, we'll make up the difference on the back end of those gamer passes that we charge $250 for. And that's another thing, how expensive it is compared to going like PAX or Gamescom or anywhere else. So E3 kind of lost direction. I do want to say one other thing. The media didn't think they were better than other people. It's just they literally have a job that is their living. And if they can't get to a game because there's so many people in line, that hurts their living. It's not that the media thought that they were better than other people. It should have been handled and done a whole lot different.
Is we're not talking about the IGNs, the Kotakus, the USA's Today's. Like all those people get private memos. Okay, they ain't waiting in line. We're talking about content creators. We're talking about the mom and pop outlets like Go Nintendo or Nintendo Life or us. Like we're talking about the under media. You have the mega media, they never have to wait. A lot of them play the games before E3 even begins, and then when E3 does begin, they get to go and have meetings and private showings. And like we did, actually, at E3 2016, we actually didn't need to wait in line for Breath of the Wild at all. We had a private showing. We could have literally only played the game once. The difference is we were a Zelda outlet. Once ain't enough.
Right.
We want to play it as much as we can. So while it was neat to play it again up there, it's like, we had already played it a whole bunch. It really wasn't anything new we were going to experience at that point. But it was still cool to go up there and chit chat. And I mean, we were right up there, and just to give an example, we know this is how it works because we had a media pass. We were able to schedule a meeting. We did get to go up to the media only area. And guess what? There's Nintendo Treehouse employees walking around up there. You're right up there with Kotaku and IGN and all these other, all these big names you guys recognize. Greg Miller is up there. Like we saw a whole bunch of those guys just up there, and hey, you know what? They're all there doing their job. And this is their one chance they get to play the game because they're not going to go wait in the lines. Part of it is because they don't want to wait in the lines because their media don't have to, and they have a billion other games they need to go cover. And two is, well, some of these people kind of give you like celebrities, and now that fans are let in, Angry Joe had quite a crowd kind of like sort of slowly following behind him, and it's kind of like, okay, that can get a little old when you are, Angry Joe's there to play demos. He's trying to get to his next meeting, to get to his next thing, and fans are trying to stop him all the time. So that it can kind of come off like maybe the content creators are being rude, and it's like, no, they're there to do a job too. Mm-hmm. Some of them aren't. Some of them are just there for community. I think Game Over Jesse, for the most, he just comes for community. He enjoys community. Right. He's not making a bunch of videos on this stuff and calling it a day. Me, I'm there to play every single demo that I can that's for Nintendo's platform. There to get footage of it, there to get hands-on experience, and there to create discussions around it and honest impressions. You guys have seen that content back at E3 2018 and 2019. And so, yeah, I didn't really, like, you could argue it's a missed opportunity, but I didn't network. I didn't go out of my way to, I'm going to walk around until I see somebody I recognize, and then I'm going to go up and talk to them. No. I was there for the demos. I was there to do a job. If I happened to bump into people, cool. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't going out of my way to do it, which is why I personally never really networked with anybody. I met a couple people, but most of them were people that I was already really friendly on good terms with already. Like Game Over Jesse. Didn't need to meet him to keep good terms going between him and I. We were all good. I mean, the one E3 when my knee got hit. Yeah. That sucked. But anyways. But E3 going away, like, I think what I'm going to miss is the way E3 game announcements worked. So I love the show floor, which was really what E3's point was, and the press conferences were sort of independent. ESA didn't run the press conferences. Companies chose to do press conferences around the event itself, around the show floor, but the ESA did not charge Nintendo or Microsoft or any money to run these press conferences like they were doing last year. All those press conferences were all independently ran. And what was nice is it was basically a 3-day event where you would have a day with like 4 or 5 back-to-back press conferences where you're just getting mega announcement after mega announcement after mega announcement, and it's nothing but games. And that's what people got excited for last year, thinking, man, they got 4 days. How many companies are going to be involved? Like, is this going to be back-to-back, like nonstop? And, if they need to fluff it up in between, are we going to talk about the games? Are we going to do developer interviews? Didn't Nintendo show us how to do this with Treehouse? You get developer interviews. You get people playing demos of the game, especially since we can't attend in person to play the demos. Now's the time to get on, like Greg Miller. Okay, you got Greg Miller hosting. You got all these people hosting. Have them play demos of the games right now that you're showcasing. That should have been, but again, they weren't that organized. And that's not what we got last year. Last year was a shit show, for lack of a better way to describe it. And it doesn't sound like it sounds like it's been that way for a long time. Rushed, cobbled together. You're going to be here because we're E3.
The biggest red flag for me has always been their goddamn sign-up website. That thing has been from like when they first had it. I mean, it's absolutely atrocious. It's difficult to sign up.
The last time they had E3 in person, what happened? All the media's details got leaked to the internet. Why? Their website's trash.
Oh God, I swear it's an early '90s. It's like an early '90s website.
App. I've downloaded the E3 app every year. It's been stupid. The same garbage every.
It doesn't give you anything else.
It's pointless. Welcome to E3. Info. Here's a map that kind of sort of loads when it feels like it, and then the map's not even accurate.
Right.
Like, it's dumb.
Yeah. No,
they don't know what they're doing. They didn't modernize. They didn't listen to the ideas of the people that actually have the ears of all the studios, like Jeff Keighley. And now, guess what? Now Jeff Keighley has his own summer event with game announcements, and E3 isn't even here.
Yeah, no, and we don't even have a reason. There's been no reason. That's canceled.
Yeah.
Cool. Why?
Dude, unprecedented events. Unprecedented what? You
couldn't get anybody to come?
Your lack of connections in the industry, which is hilarious since the ESA was formed by the industry. Did you know Doug Bowser's on the board of the ESA? You want to know how often Doug Bowser probably picks up the phone to call the ESA and exercise his board powers? When he needs a game rated.
Right? Yeah, right.
like, that's how little these companies care. The ESA has just kind of sort of become a joke. Outside of the ESRB rating system, they just don't care about them anymore. Because I think what's happened is that a lot of these companies have just moved beyond the ESA. They used to need the ESA to represent them in union battles and all this stuff, and these companies are like, dude, we'll do this better than you can. Mm-hmm. Why do we need you? Whatever. E3 might be dead for good. Might not be. They might attempt to come back next year, and I don't know if I'm going to attend if they do. Because if Nintendo's really not part of it, we have no reason to go. If Nintendo's not there, that defeats our purpose of going. And then if all the companies are just dropping out and it just becomes like an indie show, like that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's.
But also, you lost everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And just look at Summer Game Fest list this year. They got Ubisoft, they got EA, they got Microsoft, and Sony. Mm-hmm. They got Sony when when E3 lost them. Yeah, they got 2K. Now they got Activision Blizzard, which eventually will be part of Microsoft. Like it, maybe. I know they're trying to push back against it, some people in the government, but it's they got all the big boys, and then a lot of the in-between ones as well, and a lot of the indie studios. Not obviously all of them. There's a ton of indie studios, but Valve is there too. Like it's, man, it makes me a little sad.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I don't know what's going to replace it. Like for like full in-person.
That's the thing. The in-person event is like the press conferences can be replaced.
Yeah,
and maybe Summer Game Fest ends up being that replacement, but. I don't know what replaces the in-person event because, I mean, I guess you just go to Gamescom, go to PAX, but like PAX isn't really the same thing. They do have some game demos there, but that's not what it's all about. It's more of a nerd con, which is fine. Mm-hmm. Movies, comics, etc. But like, this was the gaming one. This is where everybody came and you got to play games early. Without that, I don't really know, and I don't know who, if anyone can replace it. I mean, Jeff Keighley made it very clear on his, little podcast he did that, hey, just to be clear, Summer Game Fest does not replace E3. Why? Because he knows the value of that in-person event. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if the ESA knows its value. They don't know what they're doing.
The one thing I'd wish is if it does go away, that Jeff, knowing that the in-person is that important, would start, kind of a spin-off of the Summer Game Fest and kind of roll up an in-person event.
But I also look at it like this. I don't know that... I know not everyone likes Jeff Keighley, and that's fine. I think his heart's in the right place, but not everyone likes the way that he wants to do things. And that's okay. He does commercialize, he does take on ads, but he also, his events are all about games. I mean, the one thing we can't deny... It's all about games. There's not a 40-minute Verizon 5G segment in the middle of the Game Awards. Like, it's all about games. You might not like the way it's done. You might think certain things can be done better. But he doesn't waste your time when it comes to whatever he's doing is about video games. Period. When you turn into a Jeff Keighley-hosted video game event, it's going to be about games. Maybe they're not games you care about. Maybe they're not companies you care about. Right. Maybe it's video game music, and you just don't care about that video game music. That's fine, but
it's
at
gaming.
Least it's about games, which is not what E3 was about last year. E3 was games were kind of like the backdrop to social justice, political talk, and Verizon 5G.
Verizon 5G. That is apparently supposed to somehow make gaming better, but I still don't know how because they never really did fully tell us.
Explained it. So,
yeah.
I guess that leads well into our next topic. The topic that I know some people have been waiting around for wondering, when are you going to get to this? When are you going to talk about Nintendo?
Or put it on the screen, period.
At Summer Game Fest. What is going on?
Yeah.
Hey, we were talking about E3. That was topic one.
Hey, and it kind of rolls right into it.
Rolls right into it. We did this for a reason. All three of these topics are related to each other, and there's an order to it specifically, because E3 being canceled leads directly into talking about what is our sort of summer replacement, and that is Summer Game Fest. So we don't know the dates yet for Summer Game Fest.
Sadly.
Unfortunately. They should be announced, I think, within the next few weeks, or at least by the end of April, because Jeff Keighley said that they have a bunch of announcements coming in the upcoming weeks about schedules and all that, so that should be good. He did reference in his podcast that it would probably be about a week long. The kickoff event, last year was like 3.5 hours. I don't know how long it's going to be this year. We'll be live reacting to it, and we'll do a super long pre-show and maybe a little bit of a post-show because his kind of runs till I think it ran till midnight last year. So we'll see how that goes. But what I find interesting is that he said, I don't want to put pressure on these video game companies to do things when I say to do it, which seemed to be potentially a shot at the ESA. But he said a lot of these game companies want to do a joint event where everyone's revealing games around the same time, but they want to decide how and when it's done during that time. So he said, and he even noted, some companies want the whole day to themselves. Nintendo. So it's not going to be like these 12-hour live streams where they got to do all this filler content. Now, there will be some. There was last year. But all that filler content that he did have was related to whatever was being shown that day. Shocker! Wow. Creating content that's about, is Ubisoft about to have an Ubisoft Forward, a press conference today? Man, maybe if we're doing a 2-hour pre-show to that, it should basically be a pseudo video game podcast speculating and talking about the Ubisoft event. Man, wow, imagine a gaming event talking about games?
What?
And that's what they did last year. All the in-between stuff was developer interviews. It was getting content creators and gamers together to actually talk about the games that were just shown or are going to be shown or reacting to the ones shown the prior day. It was awesome. It wasn't, the greatest show ever, but all the companies that chose to go with Summer Game Fest last year, which wasn't a ton because, there still was E3, but like Devolver Digital completely went with Jeff Keighley, and on Saturday, Devolver Digital had the best show of the whole day.
They have the best show.
The first show
all the time.
Ubisoft went that day. I think Square Enix went on that Saturday for E3. Oh man, E3's gonna win. Look at this. It's got this and this. And then Devolver Digital shows up and just shits on all of them.
Crushes it.
Just shits
like
on all
always.
of them and goes, yeah, by the way, we're at Summer Game Fest now. Forget E3. So that's cool. But when you look at the list of companies coming to Summer Game Fest, it's got pretty much all the big names except one. The list does not have Nintendo on it. Now, this does not mean Nintendo won't be at Summer Game Fest. In fact, we have some potential evidence that something might have recently been agreed.
No.
Because I do have this gut feeling, that as soon as the ESA sent out their emails for E3, Nintendo was probably one of the first companies to respond and say, yeah, we're in.
Well, yeah.
Because they're in all the time. It doesn't really hurt Nintendo. They still run their event on their own channels. It's just, why wouldn't we want the extra attention? Sure, we're in. And obviously with it being canceled and the email going out to all the game devs at the same time that it's being canceled, Nintendo is probably like, okay, well, all right, well, now what? I guess we'll just do our own Nintendo Direct and call it a day. And whatever, we'll do it when we do it, right? Nintendo doesn't have to do it in June. They can do it whenever.
Yeah.
And then Summer Game Fest had to tweet out this.
Oh, boy.
So you guys know, that's the Reginator. Yeah, Reggie and Jeff Keighley are friends, of course. But tweeting out a moment from a Nintendo press conference. And that moment is an important one. My body is ready. Ready for what? This is a key moment from a Nintendo press conference at E3. Mm-hmm. And they're using this to advertise Summer Game Fest. To hype up Summer Game Fest. Now, I'm sure Reggie will be part of Summer Game Fest in some sort of way because him and Jeff are friends.
Right. Yeah.
But my body is ready. Nintendo reference. Nintendo press conference. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like Jeff Keighley and Nintendo today came to an agreement for Nintendo to be part of Summer Game Fest. Now you might go, then why wouldn't they announce it? Well, there's a lot of logistics. Okay, a lot of logistics. You can come to a preliminary agreement. Maybe the exact day is not picked. Maybe this, not that. Maybe how much Nintendo's going to show. Are they going to do a treehouse? What are they going to do? Maybe all that's not figured out yet. But this to me seems like a direct reference to Nintendo's coming to Summer Game Fest, and our bodies are ready.
Or if you're the rest of the internet, your body's Reggie.
Now, maybe I'm overreading into it. What do you think, Eric?
I don't know how else to read it. I mean, why else would I mean, Jeff could. Are we sure it was posted today and not on the 1st?
No, it was today.
Okay.
This is by the official Summer Game Fest account.
Yeah, because otherwise, if it was the 1st, it may have, you could argue it was a April Fool's prank. But I mean, I don't know how else you read this.
Yeah, I literally don't know how you look at this tweet and go, how is this not a reference to Nintendo's coming to Summer Game Fest? My body is ready. They were not partnered yet.
The only thing that I could think of would be it is literally just Reggie's a part of it.
And that could
but that's the only other way you could read this.
Other things, they didn't have to use a Nintendo-specific reference.
Right. No, very much so.
They could have used Reggie reference from anything else. And instead they're using a Nintendo one. Now, some people speculated that, this was a hardware thing. This is a hardware tease. That Nintendo's going to announce hardware at Summer Game Fest. Guys, this was for Wii Fit. You guys not remember what... Okay, are we really going to pretend that Wii Fit was a major hardware announcement? Yes, the game sold phenomenally well, but My Body is Ready as a reference to Reggie about to step on a Wii Fit balance board. The Wii was already out, guys. Mm-hmm. This wasn't an announcement of a new Wii. This was an announcement of an accessory for a fitness game. This is not a tease for new hardware. I just want to squash that right now. And Nintendo might announce new hardware,
unless they're bringing Wii Fit to the Switch.
I guess they could be
Switch Fit.
So yeah, I'm trying to understand, this tweet, and you could argue we're just reading too much into it. We're gamers. That's what we do. We read too much into it. But I saw this today, and I'm like, holy shit, Nintendo's at Summer Game Fest. That was the only thing that popped in my head.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. You don't use a Nintendo-specific reference. Which, by the way, I think we might have created that meme. Thank you, Reggie. But we're the ones with the 2 million views of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
No, obviously Reggie's the real king here. Yeah, I would be shocked if Nintendo chose not to participate in Summer Game Fest. One, Reggie could be a good liaison to get Doug Bowser. Because Doug Bowser and Reggie probably still talk.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he was grooming him for years to take over. Mm-hmm. And he was the VP and everything. So, I have a feeling that, if Doug Bowser wanted to know anything about Jeff Keighley or any, he could just talk about Reggie and do a whole meeting, go out to lunch, take care of that. So, I don't think there's any way that Nintendo wouldn't be able to freely talk to Jeff Keighley to be in this event. Even if Nintendo of Japan might not have as tight of a connection. Mm-hmm. That's what their Nintendo of America office is for anyways, right? This is an American event, so a U.S.-based event. So I do think that this is at least our first sign before there's an official announcement that Nintendo is joining the Game Awards. Or the Game Awards.
Fest. Summer Game Fest.
It gets all confusing because those are the two events that he runs. Which takes my hype level for Summer Game Fest already to the next level. Because I was already happy. Man, we're getting a Sony show. Sony's going to have games. We're getting Microsoft, Ubisoft, EA, 2K. I mean, EA does have some good games here and there.
They do.
It Takes Two and stuff like that from Joseph Fares. And pretty much anything Joseph Fares touches is gold at this point. But you want to talk about someone who understands gamers.
Yeah, right.
Joseph Fares understands gamers. To the nth degree.
It hates the Oscars.
And by the way, he was correct. He was definitely correct to say fuck the Oscars. Will Smith kind of slapped the Oscars to make it relevant again. So,
boy.
The Oscars have Will Smith to thank for the increase in ratings this year. And maybe Joseph Fares starting the ball rolling by telling the Oscars to fuck off. And then Will Smith saying, yeah, fuck off, Oscars. You chose this bitch to be the host? Anyways. So... yeah, I think that the Game Awards, or in this case the Summer Game Fest, is going to end up being really, really interesting. If Nintendo joins, I think we're almost back to this being what E3 was, at least before the show floor. Mm-hmm. You have the press conferences. You have the showcases. Mm-hmm. You have the kickoff event, which is basically like a giant conglomeration of press conferences where there's a bunch of games that are often teasing further events that are going to be happening throughout Summer Game Fest. So are you excited? This is different. This isn't E3. This is Summer Game Fest.
Right.
Are you as excited for this as, say, we were for E3 heading into last year?
If Nintendo joins, 100%. Right now, I'm probably about 75%, just because the unknown, obviously. But if Nintendo kicks it in, that's just icing on the cake right now. So, yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And it's going to be a lot of interesting stuff from us. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we'll get that. That's our next topic is our show. Yeah, it's hard to know what to be excited for yet because the schedule's not out. Once the schedule's out, and Jeff Keighley said this in the podcast, what he feels Summer Game Fest is, hey, it's under our umbrella, so we can tell you when things are going to happen. There's no surprise Nintendo Direct. Mm-hmm. Surprise Sony Showcase. Surprise. No. There'll be surprises at the show, but we're going to have it nice and organized for you on a calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what time to tune into the things you care about. And I think that's important. That's called organization. Kind of an important thing to have.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. That's just kind of what I have to say about that. Do you have anything else to add about Summer Game Fest right now?
Besides, give me the games.
Give me the games!
Give me the games.
Give me the games.
I want to see what's going on.
Give me them now.
And I can't wait for Devolver Digital's goddamn press conference.
Yeah, Devolver Digital's involved again, and I can't wait to see how the hell they follow up last year.
When
they have an ongoing story arc,
2016?
What?
When they started that ongoing story arc? Or was that... Was it her first year?
The story arc has been... Like, if you guys don't believe me, go look up Devolver Digital E3 press conferences going back like 5 years, and then to the Summer Game Fest one last year. It's an ongoing storyline.
Oh, yeah. No, it is.
Going on over... Oh, my... It's insane.
It's freaking awesome.
I love it. I love Devolver. They're and the thing is, you don't even have to watch like the old ones to understand what's happening in the new ones because they make sure it's always relevant to today.
Yeah,
it's great.
But they somehow tie it back to one long string of kind of coherent references and stuff to it. It's just whoever designs their show is a freaking genius.
I'm convinced it's just Joseph Ferris.
That's
it feels
possible.
like something that would come out of that guy's mind.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so our last topic, and one that's obviously really important for us, and you guys can see it in the little title card of the show, is Prime Gaming Fest. So the first thought in many of your guys' minds, what the hell is Prime Gaming Fest? Why is Amazon doing a gaming event? Do we really?
Right.
Like, is this just like a sales event or something?
Right.
No. Prime Gaming Fest is actually our gaming show that we are building around Summer Game Fest, and probably going to build around it mostly every summer, depending on what's happening with E3. Obviously, if E3 can bounce back and become relevant again, that's going to create quite the conundrum for what we're going to do at that point. Whether we're going to do the live show and still attend, I have no idea. Like, are we going to be like, oh, let's cover all of Summer Game Fest, and E3's like a day after? I guess we're flying out the night after this show. I have no idea, right?
So
we'll worry about that if and when ESA can actually get their shit together.
Pull their head out of their ass.
Until then, this is what you get every year, which is totally fine by us. Prime Gaming Fest is our follow-up to the E3 extravaganza we did last year. There'll be thousands of dollars of giveaways, hundreds of winners, yada, yada. You guys should know that by now. If you don't, well, that's what happens, right? Things like this. Ghoulie King Kong 2 controller. We got one of these to give away for you guys. It's an amazing
Let me see that thing. I have yet to hold it.
And it's got Hall sensors, so it cannot drift. And anyways.
My God.
Just the feel in the hand alone.
Yeah, I know, right? This is insane, and I'm not paid to say it.
Yeah,
I'm not paid to say it.
I got paid to advertise it today, but
I'm not paid to say it. This is, damn it, I'm gonna have to get one.
It's nice.
Son of a bitch.
It is nice. Yeah, the question is, do you play on TV enough to matter?
I can start playing on the TV enough to make it matter.
It does work on PC too.
And
nice. Android and Apple.
Oh, nice.
So. You can use it on multiple devices, but it was purpose built for Switch.
Yeah. No, that's a sexy controller. Jeepers.
So, I am so excited for this show. And the thing is, what's different is last year, obviously, we knew E3 was going to be streaming from this hour to this hour. So, bare minimum, we had their content that we're going to react to. And then we kind of knew, okay, I don't think they're going to do a good job. A lot of their content's going to suck. I was right. So we created
we at least thought the presentations were going to be okay.
Yeah, and even those.
But
I almost felt like we needed to cut away from those just to do something fun.
We did mute how many of them.
Yeah.
And started playing games.
So we are going to like last year we had things planned for events. So we had gaming events and contests between Eric and I. And this year, we don't have the exact dates yet. So once we have the exact dates of Summer Game Fest and all the press conferences or whatever is going to be showing, we can start building our show around that and get a better idea of how many days we're going to be streaming, how long the streams are going to be. Because last year we were doing 12 to 15 hours a day, which is totally fine. We'll do it again if we have to. In fact, we might still make them super long anyways, even if the Summer Game Fest stuff itself isn't that long, because we have our own show to do, our own giveaways to take care of. And what we and this is just
we might need the extra time just for our giveaways.
When we were just discussing this before the show, we have a lot of stuff that we're going to be adding because we are legitimately going to be putting on a show. Now, last year, I know that it felt like we put on a show, but we still had that base reliance on, hey, what the hell's happening at E3? This year, we're live reacting to Summer Game Fest. That ain't a problem. I ain't worried about it.
Right.
It's going to be all about games. We're going to react to it. And so you don't have to go anywhere. You can catch all the Summer Game Fest right here. But we're going to be building our own show around it, our own gaming competitions. And by the way, some of these competitions are Eric and I against you guys, all of us in a tournament together. Some of it is going to be literally, we just talked about this a moment ago, video game Wheel of Fortune. We'll probably keep it specifically to Nintendo until maybe the final bonus round. With real prizes, of course, giveaway items and all that involved in all that. And yeah, you guys from the crowd will be playing the Wheel of Fortune. That's the crazy thing. Eric and I will be hosting it, and 4 random people from the crowd will be selected to play. And they'll get eliminated as we go across the rounds, just like normal Wheel of Fortune. We haven't decided who's going to be the pretty lady yet, unveiling the letters on camera, but, we'll see what happens. Then you're going to be like, wait a second, is that a letter there? Is that a letter there? Wait, is there a letter here? And then obviously there's the whole, do we digitize it and make it where like we green screen it and then like you touch the green screen and then like because I can get really fancy with this and make it all computerized. We'll probably do like a real in-person hanging letter thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's not just that. We have competition between Eric and I. We're going to be bringing a lot of the good old-fashioned drinking games into it. Not necessarily ending with doing drinks, but spinning a wheel of death, that we are still working out what all the punishments are going to be. Clearly, it's going to need to be a rather jam-packed wheel, so that's going to be fun. And the one thing I haven't decided is if it's going to be a digital or physical wheel. Obviously, a physical wheel is a lot more fun. But every time I look them up online to buy them, but apparently none of them are well made. None of them have enough room for what we need. So like everyone's like, just make it yourself. And I'm like, no, it's going to be unbalanced. And it's always going to land on the one thing every time.
The hot potato chip.
Like there's going to be, we're going to have the hot sauce challenge this year from Hot Ones.
Ooh.
The new hot sauce is straight from Hot Ones. For that, where I don't think we're going to do a shot of the sauce. I think we will have some boneless wings. Ready to go? They'd be like, I want to do that one. Yeah, let's wait till I want to see if you can survive the bomb. That's really the one that gets everyone is the bomb.
Yeah.
By the way, when you buy the Hot Ones hot sauces, they don't give you the original the bomb hot sauce. Because it's that disgusting and that gross, they refuse to actually sell it to people. So you have to go online and buy it from elsewhere. So I will make sure we get the original hot sauce. And we'll have the one that they come with that to replace it with. So maybe we'll end up having an extra hot sauce in the...
Oh, boy. As long as it's got flavor, that's all I really care about.
That's the one that's just... No.
No. Kind of like Buffalo Wild Wings, their blazing sauce, it tastes like pure gasoline.
This goes beyond... some of these Scoville levels are so far beyond it.
The Scoville levels are one thing. It's just it's got to have some sort of flavor with it.
I can tell you right now, based on every episode of Hot Ones I've seen, the bomb has no flavor.
Yeah, fine, fantastic.
It's just poison. It should not be legally allowed to be sold, which is why Hot Ones will not sell it with their official hot sauce pack for their seasons. But you can find it. It is actually sold. You can, it's not like it's illegal to sell it. It's just. No one. I would like to meet the person who actually enjoys that hot sauce. I want to meet the person. That being said, I don't know who's going to end up doing that because that's going to be on the wheel. And who knows? Maybe we end up both losing at one point. We both end up having to do it because there'll probably be 2 sets of wings. So We'll see what happens, because that's one that we'll probably leave on the wheel until it's done, for the off chance that both of us end up doing it. No one will have to do any of the same things twice on the wheel, except for some basic things like shots of tequila might be on there. Okay, like that could just stay on there. Who cares?
Yeah.
I doubt that's going to come up 10 times. No one might.
No one your luck. Yeah.
My luck.
Right.
But anyways, so we're going to be spinning a wheel, whether it's digital or otherwise, and just having a lot of fun, punishing each other and entertaining you guys. And even on that wheel, it might be, hey, time to give away a big boy prize. And that's like, you bastard. You lost, and then you don't get punished, and then they win?
Yeah.
They double win?
They double win watching me lose and laughing at me, and then I get to laugh back because I don't have to do anything, but then I have to realize, oh, shit, I'm giving away a $700 item. Here you go. Hey.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We have so much planned around this event, and it's still going. So many companies already partnering up. Another 3 more potential companies partnering up at this time. One for sure, they're waiting for the release of a brand new game that we're actually going to get codes for to give away during E3. That's going to be cool.
Holy crap.
There's just a lot.
We should really just make a master list that we can throw up on screen.
Well, the thing is, it's still all being planned.
No, for sure.
So there is no master list yet. Once we have the Summer Game Fest schedule, and then we can build our schedule around it, that's what I'm going to be able to be. Here's what's happening. Here's what our events are going to be. Here's what our gaming tournaments are going to be. Here's the games that you want to practice for that show if you want to win. Here's this. Here's that. Yada, yada, yada. Here's what the rules are going to be. Like, we have a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament. We're not just going to say, oh, we're having a tournament. Here's the race rules. Is it 200cc? Is it frantic items? Is it no items? Maybe we have a no items race. Is it 50cc no items? Oh, yeah, baby. Really test those driver skills. That would be hilarious. I actually feel like I want to do
that would be fun.
A 50cc no items tournament. That to me would be hilarious. I don't know that I'd make people suffer through 48 races. Make that a shorter tournament, probably like 12.
Yeah.
But still, that would be...
So what you're saying is they're probably going to finally break down and buy Mario Kart 8?
Maybe. It's up to you. It is the best-selling game on Switch. You'd only be like, you're on the other 50% that doesn't own it.
Yeah, right.
There's just a lot, and the big thing I wanted to bring up on this show is you guys. We are more than willing to take fan feedback on last year's show and fan input for this year's show on what you want to see us do, not just what things you would like us to give away. Everyone has things they want us to give away. Every time I'm like, oh man, you should give away 20 PS5s. Okay, well, let's be realistic here.
Right.
I would love to do that, but that's not going to happen. So obviously, not just on what to give away, but what events would you like to see us do? What gaming events would you like to see us host? And what ideas do you have for competitions, for punishments, for entertainment? We have a bunch of ideas ourselves, but we want to know what the community's ideas are, so we can maybe find a way to implement some of your guys' thoughts into our show, because a lot of the show every year is mostly just me coming up with shit, and then Eric just goes along with it because he's crazy.
I lost my brain a while ago, so
I like to make it a collaborative effort to make this show even better than last year. And we'll have better equipment, better sound. Hopefully, no sound issues. Hopefully, no crashing. But we really want your guys' feedback on that. In fact, you know what? We're kind of reaching the end of the show of what we had to talk about today. So why don't you guys leave some of that feedback in the live chat right now? And if you're listening to the audio version, you can always head on over to our podcast YouTube channel and leave a comment on the episode 45. Man, you guys can put your ideas in the live chat right now, and we'll kind of maybe go through some of them. Also, we'll take a little bit of Q&A from the chat as well, if you guys have any questions you want to ask before we wrap up this podcast. I'll let Eric answer the first handful of them, because obviously I've done a lot of talking about Prime Gaming Fest, because a lot of it's still being organized and sorted out.
A lot of it, I have no clue what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, he organized our master list of game codes. But Eric plus wig plus dress plus lipstick. Eye candy.
I guess so.
Man, the one chip challenge. We did that last year.
I know.
Eric did, I should say.
Yeah.
I feel like because it was last year, we already did that. Like that's kind of like that's checked off the list. That's why we replaced it with the
hot sauces.
Sauce.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the D-pad on that controller any good? So I used the D-pad on it for the first time today. I thought it was fine. It doesn't. It seems to be all good. I have not taken it apart to see, how it's built on the inside, but I haven't had any complaints about the D-pad.
How does that compare to the Fusion?
I like it way better.
Like it way better.
Way better.
Yeah.
And the big thing is, and this company's like they're all over Twitter, just like, dude, we built this controller because we were so tired of nobody giving us what we really want on Switch. Now, they say that there's still digital buttons. However, I will note, pretty much nothing on Switch supports analog buttons, like triggers. So, it really wouldn't matter if they did that, right? Like, they did make it so you could change the travel if you want, where like you can go in just a smidge like that and it presses the button versus all the way in. Just like they made the rumble can be more intense or less intense. You can control that as well. You can also control the sensitivity of your sticks all the way down to putting a 0 dead zone on if you're one of those FPS players that likes to have that super fine tune controls. You can have a 0 dead zone if you would like. Anyways, that's just features of the controller that I've noticed while using it. Eric just held it and he's like, "This just feels."
It feels right.
It just I don't even know how to describe it. It just feels like you hold it and like, oh, it's a little light compared to what you might expect for. Oh, wait a second. Mm-hmm. There's something about this.
Mm-hmm.
This works.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, for sure. Yeah.
Eric's like, I'm so good. So like, I'm gonna buy this. I don't even play in TV mode. I will for that controller because it feels that good.
Yeah, right. I wish we'd have some premieres, but I don't think we're gonna have any premieres. Maybe.
I would not count on any. I'm not gonna say I haven't talked to some people about it, but I definitely want Nintendo Life had their own little their own little indie world today. I don't have that sort of relationship with these indie companies at this time to get our own trailer reveals. I think it's because we're just not big enough yet, guys.
Mm-hmm.
They want maximum attention. When the highest we draw is like 900 to 1,000 live, these people want 10,000 live, and we just can't do that. We can't do those kind of numbers yet. Maybe someday. Nancy said the biggest feedback I have is the giveaways felt a bit
sporadic. I think
sporadic last year. I would like it if you had set items with set times, maybe. So I will say this: giveaways are intentionally sporadic. Some of them we did have set times for, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But the giveaways are intentionally sporadic because we don't know what's going to happen at the events that we're reacting to. So a lot of the giveaways are built around that as well. On top of that, we also don't want you to know exactly what we're giving away when we're giving it away. Because here's what happens. Then you get people who only show up for giveaways that are just going to show up at that one specific time for that giveaway and then dip out. That don't do us any good.
No. That don't do you any good.
How are you going to find out if you enjoy our channel and enjoy our show if you don't actually come to our channel and watch the show? The giveaways are the backdrop to the show, not the main attraction. And that's why they are intentionally sporadic. Now, we do want to get it to where we don't end up having like rapid fire 10 at the end.
Yeah, that one was a little bit.
But that just tells me if we have a similar number of giveaways to last year or more, that we need to do more of them in our pre-show before we get to before. And that's why I said like they're gonna have like this big 3.5 hour, 4 hour event. On kickoff night, we might be streaming 5-6 hours before that, and already have given away 50 items before we even get to their thing. So that's kind of why I said we're going to have our own show that kind of goes into Summer Game Fest shows. So, including special guests, by the way. I plan to have a lot more special guests this year coming on and talking and kind of doing pseudo mini Q&As and podcasts. And I'm not going to say interviews per se, but... Let's see here. You see any questions, Eric? You want to answer?
The N64 controller, is it a must for the N64 expansion pack? I mean, for me, yeah. Because that thing is just... I played my cousin's kid in Mario Kart, and he made the mistake of giving me the 64 controller. Whoops.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. Yeah, I wiped the floor with them.
Give us those joysticks and knock off Joy-Cons and take my money. Yeah. It's a bit harder to do that because you need so much space for these. It's hard to make knockoff Joy-Cons that aren't going to be really awkward looking.
You mean like some of them that are already there?
The Elite controller. What Elite controller are you talking about, Buzzhead? You gotta be more specific. Should have thought through that better. That's okay. I'm glad you brought it up because it was obviously you felt like it was a bit frenetic and a little crazy, but it was sort of intentionally so because guess what that did? That also helped drive the hype. That also helped drive the excitement. It kept people engaged, which is way the hell more than we can say for E3.
I mean, to be fair, some of it was just flying by the seat of our pants. Oh, yeah, why not? But
hey, Eric, grab an item.
Grab an item.
I'm bored right now.
Right,
grab an item.
Right? Not gonna lie. Some of it was just pulling it out of our ass.
Bored.
But
let's be honest. If we're bored, they're bored.
Oh, 100%.
Let's take care of that boredom and give something. But that was also kind of part of my plan going in. I wanted it to be sporadic because I know how boring sometimes things can get.
That is the one thing we do have to figure out how we're actually going to do giveaways too still. But sure as hell ain't going to involve Twitter.
Mojo Horizon, would you be able to get a Nintendo sponsorship? Absolutely not. Nintendo doesn't buy sponsorships. They give you the privilege to be in their little program where they'll send you games. Nintendo don't pay people. They'll pay for ads on YouTube. Mm-hmm. They'll pay for ads at the Super Bowl. They don't pay content creators. They don't sponsor. So, not going to happen. Not going to happen. I kind of sort of don't want it to happen. Just being honest. There's nothing that's going to create more of a bias with a channel than saying, hey, we're sponsored by Nintendo. Oh, how can you be critical of Nintendo then? Because if you were critical, they wouldn't sponsor you.
I mean, yeah.
You're not wrong. How can you continue to drink on live? Don't you have to change your content? Man, you better not swear. You better always be family friendly. I'm not exactly the sort of image Nintendo wants to project forward. Not saying that I'm the worst guy on the planet, but they want a family friendly image at all times, and I'm more of a, hey, this is real life image. You know, like I'm a real person. I do have a family. I am a parent, but guess what? Parents don't always want to just be family friendly all the damn time. They want to be adults and say adult things and talk about adult things and not just, yeah, let's go play some Mario Party. Woohoo!
Hey, we might do that.
Mario Party.
We might do that.
Fine. Then you know what I'm going to do? Shots. Every time someone gets a star, everyone does a shot. Everyone starts avoiding getting stars.
Yeah, right.
Shit, I'm buying a star.
20 stars later.
Would you like to buy this star? Yeah. No.
20 stars later. No. Definitely no.
You can send me a pic of anything.
Yeah, I want to see. Wow. Wow.
I do have a Hylian shield coming my way.
Careful with saying anything.
I mean, you can send me a pic of anything. I might not respond. I might ban you. Or I might just say, man, that was impressive. Well, that's like you're not impressed.
Congratulations.
Do you think with the fabled Oracle of Seasons Ages remake this year? I don't think so.
A little too far from your max. What? When's your max 40?
Who the heck is GMM?
What?
Please stop trying to mimic GMM. That streamer is super cringe.
Who?
I got some news for you, Preflame123. I don't watch anybody else live stream.
Who the hell is
I
what?
can't intentionally mimic somebody that I don't watch.
And have no clue who the hell it is.
So you're not getting a mimic. You're getting me. Maybe they're mimicking me.
Are they talking about Rhett and Link with Good Mythical Morning?
Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah, with Rhett and Link. You know Rhett.
Do
and
they
Link.
live stream?
I don't know.
I haven't watched one of their videos in ages.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Maybe.
Good Morning Mario? That's not a live
No.
stream. That's a show by Switchforce. That's a news
No,
show.
yeah.
What are you talking about?
No clue. Oh, yeah. Well.
Anyways, I don't know why the hell you say
I don't know. Whatever.
mimicking-
I've never seen it. I had no clue. I just Google searched
Eric
GMM.
knows me. I'm just myself, man.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
Maybe
what you
maybe
get.
Zach mimics me. His name is Zach, the guy who runs Switchforce.
15 shots. Ah, come on, Natsu.
With a few swigs from the bottle. I mean, don't forget, throw a little tequila on top.
Oh boy.
And then put some whipped cream on me and spank me and call me.
Oh boy.
No, I'm just kidding.
Things are getting spicy in
These
here.
are the things that Nintendo will not sponsor. All right, that's how it goes. Good Morning Mario is cringe. Stop the cap.
Oh boy.
Hey, we don't talk bad about other YouTubers on our channel. Birdman, you should know that. You are one of our moderators. You know the rules. We do not bad talk other YouTube channels. Starting there.
Starting now.
No. That's been a rule I've had for a long time. We don't
Yeah.
bad talk other YouTube channels. And on top of that, I don't want to ever hear anybody compare my channel to anybody else. People are going to do it. It's only natural.
Oh, well, yeah.
I am who I am. You don't like it?
Bullshit.
I don't know what to tell you. I am who I am. You think what I do is cringe? That's cool. I buy into the cringe, man. I love the cringe. I eat cringe for breakfast. Seriously. If people tell me, like, if people watch me on live stream and they see me do like a little dance like this or whatever, and they go, cringe, I go, that's right, baby. It worked. That was the intent.
You just jealous you can't do this.
Yeah, you just jealous no, you're just jealous you don't have the confidence to look this stupid. Because if you're that confident in yourself that you're having that much fun, who's really enjoying their life? The person who's willing to look stupid in front of thousands of people and just not care and have fun? Or the person that's going to be cringe, ew, I can't watch, oh my god, you're so lame. I'm like, well, maybe you're just boring. I mean, this is who I am.
That's definitely a possibility.
This is who I am, you know? Never going to apologize for being me. So here. Would you rather play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Super Mario Bros. 1 on NES? Those are so fundamentally different games. Eric, you want to answer that?
I don't know. I mean, there's something. I'm kind of the nostalgia guy, so I then again, I don't know. They are so different. They both have their pluses and minuses, and yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that one.
Depends. Do I want a single player experience or multiplayer?
There's that, I guess.
I'd probably just go with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, I have both of them on my Switch right now, and I'd still rather play Mario Kart. As for putting, GIF cut-ins in some of my videos, dude, I've been using GIF since before Zach was born. I'm older than him, if you guys didn't know. I've been using GIFs since the 90s. So if anyone's going to come at me about using GIFs in videos, get over it. Dude, I've been using crappy memes since like the day I was born, man. Like, I was out there, I was the one pissing off a fellow YouTuber with a kick my dog reference, which is an old school meme.
Good Lord.
From like back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, dude, I've been using lame, cringe memes since before most of my audience was born, at least based on what the YouTube metrics say. So I'm not going to stop doing something just because somebody else does it. Who cares, man? Other people also cover Nintendo news. Should I just stop doing that too? Like, you know. Let me see here. 2 days ago, I pre-ordered Nintendo Switch Sports from GameStop. Damn it, Pinecomb531. I'm just kidding. Should have used my Best Buy affiliate link. Pre-order from wherever you want, man. Especially if you're getting digital. If you get digital from GameStop, you could double up. You can get GameStop points, and you can also get gold points from Nintendo. You could double up your kickback. I've been saying that for years. Do you guys have a better system set up for keeping track of the giveaways? Eric, you want to answer that one?
Not yet.
We have had discussions.
Yeah.
We've discussed the pros and cons of multiple different ways. And nothing really satisfies what we want. And you could argue, well, when nothing satisfies what you want, make it yourself. You're not wrong. But we ain't got the time to try to put together something that I would trust people to enter info into that wouldn't get hacked or leaked or anything. So I'm still going to be reliant on third-party companies making things for us. I can say this. We won't be using Twitter to submit like your evidence, your proof. We won't be doing that. That's one thing that we won't be doing, won't be repeating from last year. Because now we have a separate giveaway email, and we can just manage everything through there. But there's still a lot of ins and outs of over balancing people going to a link to enter versus people entering in the chat. We haven't really figured out exactly how it's going to go, and how we can skirt around people trying to fake wins, and because it happens every time. So
yeah, we had a handful last year.
And I've had a handful since. So I think there's not really a perfect way to do it. We just do the best we can. So for some giveaways, we will have pre-set up links that we'll put out that people can enter with, and for some giveaways, it will be done still through the live chat. The exact methods of entry, the exact how people can claim their prizes, all of that's still being worked out, especially for physical items. Digitals will be that's super easy. Besides if we have issues with codes not working, which does happen. You want to read that super chat there, bud?
From Eric Winstead, fellow Eric. There we go. Hey, bro, how's it going? I've only been playing, what is it, Temtem?
Yep.
So far on my PS5, but it's interesting. Waiting for Chrono Cross tonight.
Nice, man. I know
Nice.
You just got a PlayStation 5. It was just his 39th birthday the other day.
Nice. Well, happy birthday. Belated.
Happy belated birthday, and enjoy that PS5, man. It's a great system. Great system. Your friend made it for you. All right. Well, load up. I can't show the chat. I don't have it set up to do that right now. We will have it set up for our show.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Show the chat stuff.
Through a message, probably.
That is a pity. The company that made this controller was at E3 2019. And now that they know us and like us so much, we could have met up with them if there was an E3.
Oh, sad day.
And it's fun watching that company retweet out our content.
Yeah, right?
I told you they like us. I wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
That
is awesome.
Is that a handmade one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that was fully custom.
It said their friend made it.
Oh, that's great.
That is fantastic.
It's a mock-up of one of Link's famous poses.
Yeah.
Nice. That's nice. I definitely don't have the talent to make that.
Wait, that's clay? Holy cow.
Nice.
That's impressive.
Suits this year. It's the plan. But we're going to leave it at that.
Swimming suits?
Speedos.
Oh, God.
It's a dog. No, we may have a special surprise with the suits, but I don't want to get to it yet because I haven't fully committed to it yet. I have to get through my other financial commitments for the show and for my cruise.
That's right. Okay.
Eric remembers.
Yep.
Once I sift through all the finances for it and I see how feasible it is, we might have a very special get up for you guys. That is a suit. Technically, it is a suit.
Oh boy!
But we're gonna not spoil anything. It's just like we didn't last year. We didn't spoil. We were gonna wear suits last year. So this year it's like, oh, we're gonna wear suits. But I mean, we got to step it up. So just wait, okay? Because I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna come together yet. Because again, there's a lot of financials involved with this show that we're doing, and obviously I have a cruise like a week after the show. I have a cruise, so there's a lot that goes into it. Would there be pants with said suit? The ones we're wearing, we would have pants. I don't know if we'd keep them on the whole time. No, we probably would, since part of the stream we'll be walking around for and standing up. So, yeah.
Well, considering we were wearing shorts last year.
Well, yeah, it's because we weren't really getting up. Yeah, this year, like, to give you an idea, we're using both sets this year. And you guys know the live streams I do normally that have the motion camera. That motion camera is going to be involved in some of the stuff we're doing. There's a potential we might be using 3 different cameras at any moment during our show. And both sets could appear at the same time. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see here. Maybe Summer Game Fest will evolve into what E3 once was. And until there's an in-person event, we can't even begin to speculate on that. Maybe you two could switch costumes from time to time based on your games or penalties or themes around what's live. Mario Cap or anything. Yeah, I don't know about that. I usually don't wear a hat for the show. Multiple reasons. One, it gets really hot because we're in front of studio lights the whole time. So like, and the suits we would get would be fitted to us. So like his suit wouldn't fit me, my suit wouldn't fit him. So that wouldn't really work. That's the Eric looking it up. I just want to get an estimation on the cost. Yep. Yeah, and yep. But the first thing I'm doing is calling around a couple places to see if they carry anything like it to get exact measurements.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we make sure they fit.
100%. But oh boy, if we pull this off, this is going to be.
Rent them or if we buy them.
If we pull this off, this is going to be.
It's going to be great.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
Are we wearing pants right now? Ha!
Wouldn't you like to know?
Ha! I'm always pants free on the podcast. For organizing giveaways, you mentioned you have an email for it. Why not try to make folders for the prizes that the winners have won? That way it could be easy. I could tell you right now, I'm not making 400 plus folders. It's just not happening.
And that part's not the issue. It's the
that part's like literally. Here's what happens. Like right now, when I have a giveaway thing in that email, the email comes in. I immediately go and check I check mark the email, and I say, I got different categories. One is sent. So if we sent you the item, like we sent you the code, we sent the item, gave you the details on it. I literally mark it as sent, and it goes into a sent folder. Mm-hmm. The other one says still owed. So, like, when the initial email comes in, you haven't got your prize yet. So it instantly gets marked as still owed. And then once it's sent, we mark it as sent. So I know, like, every giveaway that hasn't been paid out yet right now, I know because it's still marked in there as still owed. And that's how I keep track right now. And it seems to work just fine. A lot of the stuff that, like, all the digital stuff should be taken care of almost instantly.
Right.
It's the physical items that take a little bit.
It's also verifying the winner's information and the making sure we're not getting scammed.
Yep,
that is the number one issue that we're running into.
4 people DMing and emailing, all of them with similar looking claims to a win. Yeah. People try scamming. Legit, especially on expensive items. People try scamming. It just is what it is. When I gave away the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch OLED last week, I emailed the winner, but because I said the person and showed the person's name on screen in that stream, magically I had 5 emails to my inbox trying to claim the win. What was funny about those 5 emails to my inbox is none of them matter because I had the personal email of the winner. So, like,
Right.
it was obvious to know they were scams. But even in that situation, people tried scamming. So, like, you know, that's just how it goes. Nintendo Academy had a thing where E3 some. What, you mean this? We talked about it earlier in the show. All right, I think that's probably gonna wrap it up.
Oh, dude, I got another idea.
You don't understand.
I got another idea.
The bigger my channel gets, the more people try to scam.
I got another couple of ideas. Oh, this is gonna be fantastic.
I like when someone else comes up with ideas because sometimes the well runs dry because I'm constantly making content as it is, let alone trying to think of future stuff. All right, well. I think that's going to do it. We did have a $5 super chat at the very beginning of the show.
Yes, we did.
I don't remember what it was.
Let's see if I should hopefully be able to find it.
I wanted to get to it before the end, but I can't scroll up high enough. So.
Oh, son of a biscuit!
That. So whoever that was, thank you so much. I you know what? Sometimes I can double check on my app here. Let me load up my app here. Sometimes it'll say it on here. See, I'm not sitting at my streaming computer, and I don't have it set up right now where I can read my computer. But I'm gonna try double checking right here. Sometimes it'll show me on the back end here what that $5 super chat was. And then we're gonna wrap up the show, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you go subscribe to our Nintendo Prime podcast channel. Let's see. We had a. Scrolling down. It is not showing. Well, whoever it was, thank you so much for the support. I obviously appreciate it. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. I would appreciate if you guys would go on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts or, you know, wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts and leave a review of the podcast because the more reviews we get, not just how high the reviews are, I'm not going to tell you what to rate it. You rate it. You give it your honest rating. You think my show sucks, give it a 0 star. I don't know. You think it's awesome, give it a 5. I don't know. You guys rate it however you want. I just appreciate the reviews because the more reviews we get, the higher chance there is for new people to discover us on those platforms. So, you guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week for episode 46 with a new special guest. Peace out.
Later.